Welcome Keto is the worst, where I believe that if done properly, a low-carb lifestyle is not only healthy, but it is sustainable long-term and not at all restrictive. So in today's video, I am talking about fasting, intermittent fasting, my fasting schedule, why I don't do one meal a day or alternate day fasting, and why I pretty much do a 18-6 every day. I'm going to be talking about how I started, why I chose 18-6, the reasons behind it, and maybe it might work for you, maybe it won't, but without information, how would you know, right? So hopefully I can help, and yeah. Just to get it out the way, my fasting schedule is pretty much I eat breakfast at 8 a.m. and I eat my main meal by 1 o'clock. So we're just gonna say my eating window is from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's 6 hours and a 18-hour fast around the clock, right? Early on when I was still back in the office, I would eat at 12, and pretty much that first meal came at 8:30 or something like that. So it was more of a 4-hour eating window, and that's what I was doing for a very long time. But now that I've lost most of the weight that I wanted to, and I'm more of a maintenance mode, I am less strict about that fasting schedule. And in general, I'm less strict because I do keep that window. But let's say for some reason I'm a little bit hungry, I might snack on something, or I might just wait till the next day. But that is a day-by-day basis. That's not every day that happens, but I am a little bit looser now than I was in the past. And the reason why I chose to skip dinner and not to skip breakfast like most people do is because ever since in my early 20s, I would work out in the morning, wake up before like at 4 or 5 o'clock, work out, then I would have a protein shake, grab a bagel with cream cheese, and head to class. So for a very long time, and especially me starting to work out and me starting to lose weight for the first time, that's just my routine, and that's what I'm more accustomed to today. And also the biggest reason is that back then, and still now I guess, I don't like salads, I don't like chicken and rice and broccoli and these healthy kind of meals, and I don't like eating small meals throughout the day. I rather have something that I really like, one portion of it, which is closer to one meal a day. But for me, there was problems with that anyway, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But for the most part, the point right now is that I was just accustomed to having something small, either the cream cheese bagel or sausage and cheese in the morning, and then around 12, 1, 2 o'clock, I would have, a lot of times it would be like a chicken cutlet on a wedge or any kind of fast food type of thing that was around my school, and that was my main meal, and then that's it, right? And I was still losing weight doing that, and that's what worked for me. I had no idea that was intermittent fasting. This was like 6 years ago, and at that point in time, I would be done by 2 o'clock, and that's just, I was able to eat what I wanted, and I was still losing weight, I was still working out, I was still feeling good. So that is exactly what I continue to do, and that's what just felt more natural to me. And the reason why I don't like the other way around, which is skipping breakfast and eating dinner, is that my days change. And the reason I work out in the morning is because it's a good thing to work out before the day hits you and you're not like in your feelings. If you had a long day or things hit you in a certain way, you might not have the same energy that you did. Even though my workouts are better when I do it at noon, or if I do it at 3, 4, 5 o'clock, they're not as consistent. So I'd rather have the consistent workouts, even if their energy level is not the same, than having a full workout that might not happen every day. So that's pretty much why I always shift towards the morning. And when I did try one meal a day, I can't do that before work, and it's hard to plan that much food especially if you're meal prepping. So when I got home, usually I would get home at 6, but sometimes I'll get home at 8 or 9, and that's very hard. If you're not getting home at the same time every day and you're putting all that food in your system right before you go to sleep, you might not be as productive. And it's not like when I go home and my day is done, there's things I want to do in my personal life that's away from work. So eating that much and spending 2 hours or an hour just eating and having all your calories throughout the day just slowed me down. I didn't sleep as well, and it wasn't for me, right? But it could be for you, especially if your schedule is a little bit different. If maybe you have your one meal day close to the middle of the day, that's all up to you, right? I'm just telling you why I don't. And then alternate day fasting is something that I just can't do. Sometimes I just eat because I want to eat. It's not that I'm hungry, and going an entire day and doing that every other day is just tough for me. And I know that some people alternate day fast with a maximum of 500 calories, but for me, when I do fast, because I do fast once every other week for 48 hours, the only thing I have is bone broth, which is like 50 calories, and that's where I kind of keep it. So I wasn't going to go to that 500 calorie. And another reason is that I just like to do things consistently, and what you do every day is what your life looks like, that kind of idea. And me going up and down wasn't beneficial to me. It was more that let's find something that I can do every day and consistently, so I'm incorporating the foods that I like and don't feel like the only reason I can have this is because I can't eat tomorrow or I didn't eat yesterday. And it's just, those are two very separate forces, I guess. I went this way and I went this way. I don't know, but that's the idea, that I would like to keep everything as consistent as possible, and then when I break from it, I know exactly what I'm breaking from. It's not like there's not that much math involved, and I just feel like it's a lot easier on me to eat 5 days at 2,500 calories than eat one day at 500 and the other day at 4,500, because I just feel like that's a lot of food. But it has worked for a lot of people, so nothing that I say is trying to disparage any other ways of doing this. I'm just saying it didn't work for me. I did try it. I'm telling you why it didn't work for me. It might work for you. And yeah, all this is just testing, seeing what works for your schedule, seeing what's possible with your schedule. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of benefits to it. We can talk about autophagy and we can talk about resetting your microbiome and things like that, but I am not an authority on that. I'm not qualified for that. I've done the research and I learned it myself, for myself, but I think that there are a lot more people qualified to talk about it, so I'm just going to give you the practical advice of how to implement. If you want help with that, I know many different type of diets and protocols and things of that nature, right? For me, it worked for 18-6, like I said. I've gone 22-2 at one point for a couple months, because that was just kind of eating like an appetizer and eating the main meal, so it will be kind of split up and it's closer to one meal a day, but it's kind of preparing your body and your system for all that food. But yeah, there are many ways to get this done. If that's something that you're interested in, I might do a video about how to get started with it, but always start at the base level. Whatever you're doing, just kind of shrink it down a little bit. It's always important to know how you're eating, what you're doing right now in this moment. So if you just want to not even do anything, just write down the times that you eat and write down what you're eating, so you know exactly what your current window is, and just see how you could push that down. And then intermittent fasting does start at 16 hours, but that's really 16 hours is eating breakfast at 10 and then eating dinner at 6, which is not unheard of, right? So a little bonus for anyone who's still with me at this point is that I intermittent fast because it's a lot easier to control a little window than it is to control an entire day. That's just how I feel. If you want to be strict for 14 hours, that's a lot harder than just saying all I have to do is be strict within these 4 hours. That's the mentality I have when I go grocery shopping, is that all I have to do is be focused within these 90 minutes or 45 minutes. I guess that's a more normal time to shop. I take kind of a long time, but all I have to do is focus on this little window, be strict with it, don't put anything in my cart that I know I don't want, that doesn't fit, and then that's going to set me up for the rest of the week. And this is pretty much that same logic applied to eating, is that if outside this window I can't have anything, then I don't have to worry about what I should be having, right? I just have to focus on getting all my calories, all my nutrients, anything that I'm scheduled within these 4 hours or within these 8 hours, whatever you choose to do, and that's all I have to focus in on. And it's a lot easier, and you don't have to tax your self-discipline, or you don't have to like go into the reserve for that. It's just, this is it. And then the rest of the day, it's focusing on how do you make it to the next, because it is hard at first, and then you are going to cheat for a little bit at first. When I was first starting out, there are times where I got to 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and I would have like chips and dip, which is not even keto. But those days got less and less, and for the most part, a year later, that's not even on my mind anymore. The simple fast from 2 p.m. to 8 a.m. is very rare that I break that. The ones that I do break is every now and then when I try to do the 48-hour fast, I might just not be motivated enough to actually go the whole way. So hour 30 or hour, like 36, something like that. Somewhere midday, I'll just say, whatever, I'm gonna have something small now because I don't really feel like doing this entire day. That's where I'm at right now. That's just a personal choice. I do actually do it maybe once or twice a month that I actually get through it, but I don't know. It's not all that serious, right? That's all I have. I know this wasn't much about how to get started with intermittent fasting or some tips to actually keep you on track, but I think the mindset behind it is just as important, and the reasons why you do anything will keep you on track. So if you are interested in learning more about the science behind keto or ways to implement it, ways to lose weight and keep it off, consider subscribing. If you like this kind of content, this kind of format, consider giving me a like so I know to keep doing more things like this. And you can check me out on my Instagram or my website at ketostheworst.com. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so let's do this new one, this fasting schedule. I don't know how you feel right now. If this is the energy that you need, this is low battery. Why don't you tolerate it?